Reading music and playing any song can almost be as simple as that, but only when we follow the teachings of Tartini and Paganini and learn everything that we need to know before ever putting our fingers down on the strings. Yes, it takes a little more time in the beginning, yet their system of learning will make every song so much easier in the future. The real beauty is that with the help of Tartini's flashcards, you'll be able to read the music and play any song written in the first position after this one lesson. Yes, really. Because when it comes to placing your fingers on the strings, the steps and the rules are always the same. If you don't want your violin to sound like a toad or a catfight, your fingers need to remain curved so that only the tips of your fingers come in contact with the strings. They should not be allowed to buckle or lie flat in order to keep long fingernails from digging in and damaging and/or breaking the strings. For those women who attend formal parties after their concerts, this might mean keeping a set of press-on nails in the pocket of their case. Yet, never think of this as a negative. I've known successful women who have had a lot of fun with their press-on nails, while also being admired for their sacrifice. For the serious student, the first few weeks becomes a balancing act between building the muscles necessary to hold the violin up properly while maintaining good posture, and toughening the ends of their fingers without them becoming too sore or tender to play at all. So, when you do get tired, and you will, and before your fingertips hurt too much to play, put your violin down and take the time to watch other videos at the Romantic School of Music. There's so many wonderful ones about the secrets of Stradivarius and Guarnerius and violin making itself. Or read a particularly wonderful book about the legends of music and master violins. Other options include memorizing your next piece, or learning how to play your lesson on the piano. This not only helps with reading music and intonation. You'll find that the smooth, cool piano keys are actually soothing on sore fingertips. Once again, it's so important in the beginning that you aren't trying to figure out where to put your fingers while trying to play the violin. This is one of the greatest of Tartini's secrets, because trying to draw a straight bow while playing in tune is a big enough challenge by itself. This is why Tartini's flashcards truly are considered magical. Happy Birthday has one sharp, which means that we'll be playing in the key of G. And the key of G flashcard shows us where to place our fingers while playing Happy Birthday. Also, our finger placement for any other song ever written in the key of G. It really is that simple. And since the Romantic School of Music wants everyone to understand everything possible from the very beginning, remember that all of the finger patterns in all of the major key signatures are determined by the same rule, that if we're playing in the key of G, we start the scale on the note G, and our fingers are then placed a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step apart. That means that if we learn the names of the notes and which finger to use from Tartini's first set of flashcards, and then look at the appropriate key signature card, we can read music and know exactly where to place our fingers on the strings for any song in the first position, which is almost every popular song ever written. Step 4 really is important, and historically it's been called the foundation of greatness when learning how to play the violin. And even though the checklist takes a little extra time in the beginning, once it becomes a habit, it takes no extra time or effort at all. And it will allow us to master the violin so much quicker. One of Paganini's deepest regrets was that he hadn't been taught some of the items on this checklist before becoming somewhat deformed as a child. Because of this, Paganini demanded that his students maintain proper posture at all times and not to play like their master, who had a twisted spine. Yes, it's nice to be able to contort your hands and your body to tune a violin no matter what the angle of the pegs are. Yet if you wish to tune quickly and look professional while doing it, make sure that your pegs are at least close to the proper angles. If your hands are too weak and someone else has to tune your violin for you, make sure to practice your intonation by singing like a whale and matching the notes with your voice until you can tune the violin yourself. Tighten and rosin your bow while remembering that a little extra rosin in the beginning is better than not enough. And if you have weak hands or your bow didn't come with any rosin at all, it is okay to grab the frog in your fist in order to apply enough pressure, because it's not a good idea to wear out your hand or strain your fingers before you begin playing. Now, form a tight C with your right hand and then relax it, while remembering that a proper bow grip is always relaxed, and it should always appear that way. Every once in a while, ask someone else to let you know if it really is. When you pick up your violin, stand with your toes angled out at about 45 degrees, with slightly more weight on your left foot. Relax both shoulders, raise your chin, and place the violin on your left shoulder with the violin tilting forward at about 45 degrees. Hold the neck with a relaxed V, and the strings should be level with the ground. Nothing should change when you bring your chin down. And everything should be comfortable and feel secure. If it doesn't, review the video how to really hold the violin. Once your violin is in place, make sure to keep your wrist straight. And remember that none of your fingers on either hand should ever become tense or allowed to buckle. Yes, playing the violin takes strength from muscles that are almost never used anywhere else. But there's a big difference between developing those muscles properly and unnecessary tension. In the words of the masters, if you practice a ruthless and relentless attention to just these details for 3 weeks, it will save you a year of struggling to overcome them later on. Now, if your violin feels comfortable and secure, and you feel good about not dropping it, practice passing your bow from your left hand to your right until you can gently grasp it with relaxed, flowing fingers. Place it halfway between the bridge and the fingerboard and then tilt it forward slightly. Then make sure that it really is parallel to the bridge and perpendicular to the strings. But before you begin to play, take a moment to remember that your bow will want to pull back when approaching the tip, but you won't let it. And that your violin might also want to pull back, but you won't let it. Instead, you'll stretch your arm and allow your relaxed, curved fingers to make up the difference. Then remember that when drawing an up bow, your arm will want to saw in the opposite direction, but you won't let it. And after all of this, if you think that you can get away with it and haven't read through Happy Birthday first, you need to set your violin back down. Because if you ever find yourself struggling to figure out which finger to use or where to place it, no matter how hard you try, your posture will become poor and you'll forget everything that you've learned so far. If you don't believe me, ask anyone who plays the violin. Reading through the music first will not only make you a better player, it will usually cut your learning time in half. But wait, there's more. If you really want to find happiness while playing the violin, follow the advice of Bill Bojangles Robinson. Take a deep breath and smile, especially as you begin to play. This will not only remind you and the audience that you really love playing the violin. Sometimes this one embellishment is more important than what you play. Whether you're just beginning or at the peak of your career, take the time to warm up your bow hand, also your fingers, and the violin itself. In many cases, this can make all the difference in the world. Realize, though, that there will be situations where tuning your violin is the only warm-up you'll get. If this is ever the case, focus especially on relaxing your bow grip and drawing a perfectly straight bow. Don't be shy and never cheat yourself, because you'll be cheating yourself out of your chance of success. Take the time, even if you're standing on stage with an entire orchestra waiting behind you. But since we're practicing, and Happy Birthday might be the first time that you ever place your fingers on the strings, begin by warming up on the open strings, like you did before playing first song. And to really start things off right, take 40 seconds to play first song from memory again. The act of playing your last lesson or performance piece from memory not only helps with memorization, it sets the stage to keep you moving forward. And if we really want to learn as quickly as possible, the best thing that we could do right now is to play the same scale that Happy Birthday is played in. The key of G really is nice because it allows us to play 2 full octaves in the first position, which position is the easiest and most comfortable one of all. We'll play the open strings on the way up, and then repeat the top G and use our 4th finger on the way back down. For most teachers, for many reasons, this is the standard when playing scales. But fair warning, most beginners have to really stretch in order to play their 4th finger high enough to be in tune. This is easier said than done. So have someone listen to you and/or have them play the notes on the piano with you. Or, best of all, especially if you're practicing alone, use an electronic tuner. Happy Birthday has 3 beats per measure, and each quarter note gets 1 beat. The first measure only has 1 beat, so it's called a pickup measure, and we start playing on the 3rd beat. Take your time, keep your wrists straight, but don't worry about the tempo just this once, because the next lesson in this series is how to become one with the metronome.